Chapter 7. Tom receives instructions. Tom was brought to a very large hall and made to sit down into a beautiful armchair. There were many lords standing around. He did not like to be sitting before so many lords. He asked them to sit down, but they only bowed their heads and continued to stand. He was going to repeat his invitation to sit down, but his uncle, Lord Hertford, whispered in his ear, "Please, my lord, do not ask them to sit down. They must not sit in your presence." Then Lord St. John entered the hall and said to Tom, "I have come with an order from the king. He wants only me and Lord Hertford to know about that order, and nobody else, your highness." When all the lords left the hall, Lord St. John said, "This is His Majesty's order, your highness. You must hide your illness and never say that you are not the true prince. When you don't know what to do and are afraid to make a mistake, you must ask Lord Hertford, your uncle, or me, your true servant. The king sends you his greetings and hopes that your illness will soon pass." Tom answered, "I shall do what the Lord King wants me to do." "Please, your Lord Highness," said Lord Hertford, "don't read and don't study today, because the king does not want you to look tired at the banquet this evening." Tom was surprised to hear about the banquet. "Don't be surprised," said Lord St. John. "You have forgotten about the banquet, the city banquet, which the king promised you 2 months ago. Do you remember now that you must be present at it?" "I'm very sorry, but I have really forgotten about the banquet," said Tom, who had no idea about any banquets. At this moment, Lady Elizabeth and Lady Jane Grey arrived. Lord Hertford went quickly towards the door. As the 2 young girls passed him, he whispered to them, "Please, ladies, do not show any surprise at the prince's manners. If he forgets anything, do not pay any attention to that." At the same time, Lord St. John was saying in Tom's ear, "Please, your highness, don't forget the king's order, and try not to show your illness. Remember all you can remember. You must not show that you don't remember anything. Do not let them see that you have changed much. You know how they love you, don't you? And you know how sad your illness will make them. Do you want me and your uncle to stay?" "Yes, please do," said Tom. Many times during the conversation among the young people, Tom did not know how to answer the ladies' questions, but a word from one or the other girl helped him. Tom was a clever boy, and he was learning the ways and manners of the court very quickly. But still he made one mistake. Lord St. John told the ladies that the prince had to stop learning for some time because of his illness. "But I hope that you will be better soon and begin to study foreign languages again. I am sure you will learn to speak many foreign languages as your father does." "My father?" cried Tom suddenly. "My father does not speak his own language correctly. Only pigs can understand the meaning of his words." He looked up and saw St. John's eyes. He stopped, then he continued slowly and sadly, "I am very sorry. This is my illness again. Sometimes I don't know myself what I am talking about." "We know it, sir," said Lady Elizabeth, and took her brother's hand in her own 2 hands. "Be at peace. We understand it all. Soon you will be well again. I hope and wish it with all my heart." Once the little Lady Jane Grey said several words in Greek. Lady Elizabeth saw surprise on Tom's face. She answered Lady Jane in Greek and changed the talk at once. Tom invited the ladies to the city banquet that evening and was very pleased at the idea to have some friends with him. When the ladies left, Tom asked, "May I go to some quiet corner and rest a little?" "Please do, Your Highness," said Lord Hertford. "Of course you must rest, because you will go to the city banquet in the evening." He rang the bell, and a page came in. They led Tom to another apartment. Tom was going to take a cup of water from the table which stood in the middle of the room, but the page dropped upon one knee and gave it to Tom on a dish made of gold. When Tom sat down on a sofa and wanted to take off his shoes, another page went down upon his knees and took Tom's shoes off. Tom thought, "Soon they will begin to breathe for me, too." He laid himself down to sleep, but could not. His head was too full of thoughts, and the room was too full of people. He could not tell them to go away, so they stayed.